Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today I'm going to be doing a product review on this guaranteed to pass emission system cleaner by CRC. So let's go ahead and get started. So here we have it here. You can pick up this particular product at pretty much any of the automotive stores like Advance Auto, AutoZone, things like that, even online. It usually ranges around $13 to $15. I'll put the price along the bottom as far as what I paid for it. Now, the good thing with this product here, they guarantee it that one application, and we'll go into details as far as how to put it in, all that, but one application before you go for your emissions test, they guarantee you will pass, or they will give you a double money back guarantee on that. Now, if you live in a state like I do that has the inspections every 2 years, or if you live in a state that just has the emissions test, you're going to be required to pass that. They're either going to do the tailpipe test, or in some states, they'll do the OBD2 sensor. They'll plug in and get a reading off of your car's ECU to see how your emissions are going. If your emissions are not meeting the standards and the maximum allowance for the emissions coming out, you will fail. This product here claims if you do put a full application in before that, they guarantee it to pass. So we're going to go through, we're going to look at pretty much the different instructions as far as what you need to do. We're also going to see what this guarantee actually means, if there's any kind of hidden disclaimers about that. And then we're going to go ahead and put it into a vehicle that I have that just came back from taking the test and it did fail. We're going to put this in it and return and see if it does the job. Now, looking here on the side of the carton for this, it kind of goes into details as far as what this does. And it starts off here as we read right here. It says, why risk failing your emissions test? Be proactive and avoid the hassle of a retest. Add the CRC guaranteed to pass product to at least one tank of fuel before your test, and you should be good to go. Now, what this does, it reduces your carbon monoxide, your hydrocarbon, and your nitrogen oxide emissions and the need for an expensive high-octane fuel. It cleans your intake valve deposits and combustion chambers for easier starts, faster acceleration, and better airflow. Cleans your fuel injectors to increase mileage, power, and reduce hesitation. Restores your fuel system to like new. Removes harmful gum and varnish from the carburetor and emissions control components. And it's the newest technology with maximum cleaning chemistry for superior results. Works in all gasoline fuels, including ethanol blends. So that's pretty much what this product does. And I guess with doing that is where it enables you to pass that emissions test. So now let's go ahead and let's turn it here on the back, and we're going to go through the actual steps that are needed as far as to put this in. We're going to look at the guarantee as far as this double money back guarantee. What exactly does that pertain to? Obviously, there's always a hidden clause in there that if you do something or don't do something, that it pretty much eliminates that guarantee. So let's go ahead and take a look at all that. Then we'll put it in the vehicle and put it to the ultimate test. We'll go ahead and get the reading from the emissions center and see if it did its job. I want to start off by looking here at this money back guarantee section right here before we go into it any further, because this is important. And I'm going to go ahead and read this right here. It says, in the event that the purchaser uses guaranteed to pass emissions test formula in accordance with the instructions and the purchaser's automobile fails to pass the applicable state motor vehicle emissions test, CRC Industries will refund the purchaser double the purchase price of the guaranteed to pass. This guarantee is void if your vehicle's catalytic converter or emissions components are malfunctioning, altered, or disabled, or if engine settings do not comply with the manufacturer's specifications. That right there is key. So before you go putting this in and taking it there to be tested, if your vehicle is generating an engine code, and if you want to see how to check engine codes, you can do so via my link above where I showed how to do that. With an OBD2 sensor, there's Bluetooth sensors, or you have the handheld scanners. If you're getting an engine code, you want to make sure that you check that, because it could be a component is failing, whether it be your catalytic converter, the oxygen sensors, or it could be your mass airflow sensor. If any of those items are actually malfunctioning and failing, then this product is not going to work, because this is a cleaning product. This is not a mechanic that's going to go in and fix those components. So if you are getting a check engine light, you want to make sure you check that, see what the code is, and fix that accordingly. Because if you have a component that's failing, this is not going to work. Now, if you go in and let's say that the code is not saying a product's failing, but maybe something is just falling short or something needs to be cleaned, then this will definitely do the job. But if it's clearly saying that an O2 sensor is bad and you're checking it as far as on the actual graphs and you can see it's clearly failing, you definitely want to go ahead and take care of that first. So I just wanted to get that out there, because if someone buys this and they have a vehicle with a check engine light on and they pour it in, they still fail, well, you're not going to get your money back on that, because it clearly calls that out, that will void that whole guarantee. So now that we've looked at the guarantee, I'm going to go ahead and let's take the product out. And there's directions on the back of the box, but there's also some on the back of the container itself. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this right here. First thing that you want to see on here, this is not for use in diesel engines. So don't be putting it in a diesel engine. So first of all, what you want to start off with, you want to take your vehicle, you want to make sure that your gas tank is completely full. Now keep in mind, if you're dealing with a vehicle that holds more than 16 gallons, because this right here will treat up to a 16-gallon max. So if you have more than 16 gallons, you want to use 2 applications of this. So keep that in mind, because as mentioned already, you want to make sure you follow the directions, you put the appropriate amount in there, so that way it can do its job and it can function properly. So once that's done and you filled your tank totally with gas, what you want to do is you want to then add the content to it. So if you're only putting 1 or putting 2, you're going to go ahead and open it. You're going to add it to the fuel tank after you've filled the tank with gasoline. Now once that is done, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to drive the vehicle normally until the tank is nearly empty. So what you're going to want to do is fill it up completely, add this to it, then you're going to want to drive normal use. You don't have to highway drive or whatever, just your normal driving you want to do, and you want to pretty much burn that whole fuel tank out until you're down to pretty much 1/8 of a tank or in that range. As you can see, we are not getting any check engine codes either, which is kind of interesting, because normally when you're having issues with your emission system like catalytic converter, O2 sensors, your mass airflow sensor, things like that, you will get a check engine light that'll generate an engine code. So this is interesting because all the components are appearing to be fine, but we're still getting a bad reading on the actual physical exhaust test from the inspection center. So let's see if this cleaner does the job as they claim it should. And then once you get it to that point, then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to then refill your tank, and then you're good to take it back to the emissions place to have it tested. So now that we've gone ahead and done this in this particular vehicle, I'm going to show you the test result that we got earlier today when it failed. Here you are. Here are the actual test results. Here you can see the hydrocarbon and the carbon monoxide readings were way off. You have the limits of 220, I'm at 584, and then you're at 1.20, I'm at 5.06, so I clearly failed both of those. So this product claims, and they actually guarantee, that unless you've got faulty components, it will do the job. So let's see if it does what it claims that it will do. So now that you see we failed, you can see the scores we got, they're not good. As already mentioned a minute ago, if you have any faulty components, part of your emission system, catalytic converter, O2 sensors, things like that, and you're clearly seeing that on your diagnostic reader that those are failed, you do want to take care of those. If you want to see a little bit more about O2 sensors, a lot of times they're a common problem with this kind of issue. There's a video, I'm putting the link across the top, where I talk more in depth about understanding O2 sensors. That'll help you kind of understand what they do and kind of how they function in that whole system of your emission system. Now, if you want to see how to replace them, I did replace O2 sensors on one of my vehicles. It may not be exactly on the vehicle you're dealing with, but it'll at least give you an overview as far as what you would need to do to replace it. You can check that out also via the link above on how to replace that. So now that that's taken care of, we've added this to the vehicle. Let's go ahead and take the vehicle back, and here's a clip of when we took it back, and let's see how it turns out at that point.
All right, so we are headed now to the inspection center to go ahead and run this through and see if it worked. Hopefully everything will be good, and we'll give a final verdict on this product. We are here, so let's go ahead and get this thing checked out. As mentioned before, we have failed already, so we're going into the recheck lane, and hopefully we'll get some good news out of this thing. Okay, well there you have it. Says right there, pass for both of these. That's for the hydrocarbon and the carbon monoxide. You can see the limits are 220 and 1.20. I am at 2 and then 0. So this thing is completely clear. Definitely did its job. I'm very impressed. All right, so we're pulling out here. Everything looks good. Everything passed. So this vehicle is done. Okay. This pretty much wraps up this product review for this guaranteed to pass emission system cleaner by CRC. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this definitely a 10. You clearly saw the results right there with it before and after emission test and saw the results. This thing worked great. I would highly recommend it, but as mentioned already several times, and I'll mention it again, you got to make sure that you follow the instructions, follow them exactly as they're called out in here in order for it to work properly. Don't take shortcuts or try to bypass any of it and cut corners. So, highly recommended. Please send me any questions, any comments you may have about this particular review. As mentioned already, if you've got faulty components in your emission system, you need to go ahead and correct those first. So, scan your ECU through the OBD2 port. If you're getting a check engine light, make sure that nothing needs to be replaced. If it does, replace it accordingly before you do that. So this wraps up this video. I hope this video helped you out. As always, I appreciate all the support. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.